All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the BassmastHER podcast. If you're watching, I know you already know who our special guest is today. The very humble, but I like to call the very famous Lulu, the one and only.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
This was a no-brainer.
Listen, I usually get pretty nervous when I do these, but when she reached out and said, "Are you interested?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, let's do that."
Yeah, I mean, look at this. We're not.
I know we're so casual, guys.
Out
don't judge us.
on the tailgate.
I'll probably be slouching here in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So, and
Absolutely.
It's hot here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it's warm. I came to the north thinking for cooler weather. We have this in Alabama.
It is coming. I think we're gonna have a few cool days coming up here. But
After I go home.
Well, no, tomorrow though. It's supposed to start tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's hotter here than some people think it is. But
I know.
I've been born and raised in Wisconsin my whole life.
I didn't know that.
This sounds silly, but like having an event like this come to my home state is really like special and exciting for me. So having you sitting on my tailgate in Wisconsin is
I love that. Do you come watch the loggers play?
I haven't, so I'm a few hours away from here, so I'm not right here, but where I grew up, there was a similar team called the Woodchucks.
Woodchucks?
So
okay.
I went to a lot of those, if that counts.
Yeah. We came one time, years ago when we were here, we came that weekend and watched them play, and now I thought it was so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't come up here as much as I should. Living in Wisconsin, I should really fish this river a whole lot more, but I'm just kind of a lake gal.
There's so many pools, though. How would you even know where to start? That's like yesterday, Gerald fished in 8. Because he said he didn't think 7 or 9 would play. And then he did not have a great day yesterday. And he's like, well, I'm not going back there. So he's like, I'm going to 7. And then he's second guessing. I'm like, dude, you pray about that.
Yeah.
When you start to go whatever direction, say, Lord, which way you want me to go? And then that's the way you go. So.
And I'm no river rat myself, but like even listening to live today, they're all saying that these rivers literally change every day, if not by the hour. So I don't know. It's send me to a lake.
I agree with you. And tidal waters. I don't understand those. Anything I don't understand causes me to I don't like it because I don't know how do you figure it out.
Yeah.
Luckily, that's not my job. I have a lot of hats that I wear, but finding the fish is not my job, and I am thankful for that.
Yeah, well, I want to get into that. I want to get into the different hats you wear and your job. But for starters, I'd be shocked if anyone tuning in isn't familiar with you. But can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. I met Gerald. I met Gerald in 1998.
I've been excited for this.
He had just won the FLW event, highest paying event that they'd ever had on Beaver Lake. We did not start dating.
Okay.
We were I had someone, he had someone, but I met him because he came to my bank where I worked.
Okay.
And he worked close in hand with my boss, who was the president of the bank, because they fished together. So I did a lot of reservations for my boss, and I helped him pay his entry fees. Back then, FLW was one of those situations where if you're trying to enter, you had to call at 8 a.m. on the dot, and everybody's calling at the same time. There's no internet. There's no logging in that. And so he would call, and we would 5 people would come in early, and we'd all start calling immediately. So that's how I met him. And then fast forward to, I think, 2003, we both found ourselves single. He asked me out on a lunch date. I went, but I was so nervous, I made my girlfriend go with me from work.
Cute.
Yes. And then we started dating, and then we got married the next May.
Wow.
So that's how it started. Yeah, but I had known Gerald for a long time prior to even we had built a friendship.
Yeah.
I did a lot of work for him and his family, just because they all banked there. So that's the story of that. But we got married. I was still working. I think about 6 months in, we talked and felt like it would be good for me to take a leave of. He wanted me to quit. I'd worked at the bank for about 10 years. I'm very, very independent. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not quitting my job. I like having my own money. And I mean, it's not like I was retiring on it, but still. So I decided I'll give you a 6-month leave of absence, and we'll see how it goes. So I gave in my 6-month notice, and then I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna take the bull by the horns, and I'm going to run this operation. I said, if we're gonna get married, we got married, but if we're gonna do this, I want it proper. We're gonna do a corporation. I'm gonna draw a paycheck because I want to be able to have my own money. You draw a paycheck. By the way, 21 years later, I'm still making the same thing. Never got a raise. Yeah.
Gerald, are you watching
Do you know what he says? You're
What?
sleeping with the boss. What else can you ask for? Yeah, that's what he tells me. So anyway, yeah, so 21 years later, still making the same thing. He's still making the same thing. And, but literally I did. So like I remember the first day I carried our daughter to school and I come home and I converted the spare bedroom to my office and I started organizing everything. And he literally took everything. His family had been helping him with all of his, up until that time, paying his entry fees, all that kind of stuff, booking flights, you know, managing bank statements, bills, and he just handed it to me. He was like, no transition, just here you go, see what you can do with it.
Figure it out.
Yes, and I remember that I remember that day because I like to be organized. I used to like to be organized. My desk is horrible right now. But literally, I organized everything, and I remember looking at the clock, and it was time to go get her from school. I had worked all day, didn't even realize it. It flew by, and that's just how it got started. And so I didn't travel with him to begin with because she was in school. We would cherry pick a tournament when she was out of school that we'd go to, and then when she graduated I started traveling full time. And then, you know, we all stayed together with Terry Scroggins and Britt Myers, and we did that for years. And then we started camping, and that just when we first started camping, it was like, if they're close, 4 hours or less.
Yeah.
And then it was like 10 hours or less, and now it's like once you start the season, you don't come out of the camper. You haul it wherever, which I pull the camper, and we just haul it wherever we're going, whether that's Timbuktu, you know. I'm glad we haven't had to go to Leach yet. I don't know if I could handle that drive.
How long would that be?
I think it was like 20-something hours, 23 hours.
Gosh.
Yeah, and we would never, if we ever went back to California, we would not camp in California. That's asking way too much of a camper.
Yeah.
Now, we're so spoiled now, we'd hire somebody to drive the rig out and fly. But that was my first trip. My first time to fly and everything. I booked a flight. I was so nervous. I was like maybe 32, never flown. So scared I was going to go into the wrong plane. And he's trying to tell me, they really prevent you from doing that. And I got a girlfriend to take me to the airport. And I flew in, met people, Doug Cox and his beautiful wife, Brandy. They met me, never met me before. They took me with them. We're going up the switchbacks to wherever we were. I don't know, it was the Delta. It was one of those lakes out there. I was so car sick. I was miserable. And that was my first like get out of Alabama trip. I mean, I had been to the beach or Tennessee or whatever, but yes, that was outside my comfort zone. And it took us 3 days to get back home. So lots of windshield time, and that's my first time to pull his boat like that. And we were following Stephen Browning, Bo Browning's, you know, fishing the lakes now. We were following Stephen, and Gerald went to sleep. And I'm following, I don't know where I'm at. There's no GPS back then. Like, it's all Atlas.
So and Gerald was in charge of the map, and he's sleeping.
Oh, he's asleep. And so I'm scared to death I'm going to take a wrong turn. And we got to the gas station, and Gerald asked him, he said, well, how's she doing? He said, dude, you need to marry that one. He said, she's been on my bumper the whole way. Because I'm like,
I'm not going to lose them.
I'm scared you're going to run off and leave me. Like, I don't know where to go. But
so
that was my very first trip to California. And I've seen some things, you know, but that's how it all got started.
You really just got thrown right into it.
I did, yeah.
But willingly, you dove in.
I did, absolutely. I wasn't reluctant for any of it. But that's how it all came about, and
that's just been how, like, it's never a question. That's just how it is.
No, it is, yes. And that's the thing. It's not a Gerald Swindle or Leann Swindle now. It's G and Lulu.
Yep.
I mean, we're joined at the hip in everything.
Yep.
I don't fish as much as I hunt. I love to crappie fish. I love crappie fishing, but I'll go out with him from time to time. But I'm not take me out all day. Let's, you know. Yeah. I love being on the water, but I'm perfectly content sitting in the boat.
Yeah.
You know, watching him fish. Mm-hmm. But you know, and I took up doing the videography. I'm going to say probably 5-6 years ago, because we started doing the recap videos.
Yep.
And I bought me a little Canon M50, little $400 setup, and I used that for like 3 years. And then finally graduated, and you know, so now that's another hat that I wear. Mm-hmm. Doing all the videography. We have an amazing videographer that puts our videos together. So he takes my madness and he makes it pretty. Mm-hmm. So
that's the worst part, if you ask me.
Oh, it is.
Filming's one thing, but then sitting in front of the computer.
You have to have a vision,
yep.
And I don't. And so but you also have to have a little bit of a vision to know what angles to get, what shots to get, and I'm constantly, because I've done it so long, I'm constantly trying to come up with different things. Mm-hmm. I do think behind the scenes is something that I believe that Gerald's fans would love to see more of.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, like you have all great intentions. You're like, we're gonna go back to the camper, or I'm just gonna start filming us sitting there eating supper, or I'm gonna film, you know, us lighting a fire or walking the dogs or something. And great intentions, but then it's like after 3 days of grueling practice and then 2 tournament days, you're like, I'm not going to do that tonight.
No.
But we do need to get better at that, because I do think that content, I do think it would resonate well.
Oh, absolutely.
With the fan base of fishing.
I mean, when he's on, he's the funniest person on earth. So I can't imagine if he's caught off guard. Like, I just imagine him being like that all the time.
It's hard to catch him off guard. Well, it really is. Somebody embarrassed him recently, and I'm trying to remember what they said, because it literally caught him off guard and he didn't know what to say, but it was really, really funny. It might have been Nevaeh Lowen. I can't remember, and he was just like dumbfounded. He's like, I don't really know what to say to that.
Speechless for the first time, huh?
He's never speechless.
Oh,
never, no. But yeah, and so like, I can't imagine how many more hats he's gonna throw at me, but so far we've tackled them all.
So that was one thing I wanted to ask you, is like, where would he be without you? But you already kind of answered that. Like, you kind of manage everything.
I do. Now, he does contract negotiations.
Okay.
That is all him. I'm the paper pusher on that. But yes, anytime it becomes time to negotiate, that's all him. He's got such a great memory. Like, I'll say, how much so-and-so, what was that? And he can remember it, recall it just like that. And it's amazing to me that he has that memory, which is not always good. Yeah. Because he can remember everything.
Well, I will say, I think you guys could be getting more if you were negotiating. Oh. You're a little more intimidating.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Walk in there. You just said you're 5'2", right? You're kind of intimidating.
Listen, I was looking at my license the other day, and it said I was 5'1" and 110 pounds. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, can they arrest me for false information? Because I haven't been 110 in a long time. Long time.
Oh, gosh, that is too funny. So I know one of the things that I love about you is that you love to hunt a lot.
Yes.
Were you into those things before you and Gerald were together? So
Not
that's
at
something
all.
that, like, you guys kind of bonded over.
Yes, and he's taught me everything. And so when we first got married, he hunted a lot. I mean, he hunted a lot because that's like his passion. He fishes to pay to be able to hunt. Mm-hmm. And so because I wasn't traveling with him fishing, and then he would come home and go straight into hunting, it was like there was a lot of time that he wasn't around. And so, you know, obviously no man wants to ever hear his wife complain about you're hunting too much. Yeah. And so we did have a couple of like disagreements on that, but what he ended up doing, even before I really started hunting, is he belonged to a hunting club down in South Alabama at Hurtsboro. He would hunt during the week, and then he would come home the weekend. And that was our compromise. He would be home on the weekends. He would be able to go to, Whitney was a cheerleader, go to her football games, and then be there for church on Sunday. And they did away with that because the people didn't like him hunting when they weren't there, you know, so they stopped that. So we got out of that hunting club, and then we just started hunting our property. You know, we'll get a private lease here and there. But I started rifle hunting at first, and I did that for a couple of years, and then I thought, I just want to try to start shooting a bow. So he bought me a little old Matthews Mission. You know, I shot that for the first year.
That's what I started with, too.
Yes.
Yep.
I shot my first doe with that. I don't think I shot a buck with it. And then we started graduating up, you know, to nicer bows. Cool. And now both of us mainly only bow hunt, even during rifle season. Yeah. We hardly ever pick up a rifle.
Once you really get into it with the bow, there's so much less excitement with the rifle.
It
feels too easy.
It really does. It almost feels like, I mean, I've shot some really good deer with a rifle. Yeah. But when I walk out into our garage where our deer are like displayed, I can tell you the story about that one. I can tell you how it hadn't been for Gerald tracking it, and he's a master tracker, and he's had to be for me. I've only had 2 or 3, even with a rifle, I've only had 2 or 3 that have fallen over just like that. And that was recent. Like, I shot it and it ran over there and like just fell down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did that really just happen? Yeah. But that's the thing with a rifle, I don't feel that. And I don't know, I don't feel that, it's not, I don't want to use the wrong word here because somebody's going to say, oh my gosh, you're just a murderer. Yeah. That's not it at all. It's just with a rifle, I don't have that storyline to tell.
Yeah,
you know, and with every one of my bow kills, I can almost look at it outside of my first deer that I shot with a rifle. I look at all my bow kills and I'll be like, That one I had 3 encounters with before I got him. This one we tracked for 2 miles, it seemed like. This one bled out, you know, and did a death run and down into a ravine, and my husband knew it was my first buck with a bow, and he and my son-in-law at that time, they didn't gut it down there. They drug it up foot by foot because they knew I wanted the photos with it.
That's awesome.
They did all that for me. You
those
know,
are the stories.
Yes, yes, and I have all those stories in my head, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that I can talk to people about all day long. I love hunting.
Yeah.
I really, really do. So we didn't get to do as much last year. Gerald had his shoulder surgery, so I still hunted a good bit, and
I love that.
He watched.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, hey, he can cheer you on every once in a while,
and
right?
he's the kind of person, honestly. Now I can't say that 10 years ago, but now he gets more joy out of someone else harvesting a deer, especially off of a lease that we have, than he does himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So one reason I love following you guys and the team, that I wanted to have you on today because you two are such a strong team, and I admire that so much. And as someone who, you know, I'm a gal that loves the outdoors, hunting, fishing. And you were just talking about how it can be tough spending that time apart, or maybe before you were traveling with him, or when he'd be hunting. So I think it's really neat that you two have kind of, you do all of these things together and cheer each other on and help each other out, and it's a good compromise.
We do everything together now, so it's like if I'm burnt out on hunting, because he's the kind that he's going to hunt every day if he can. It's not like if the deer are moving or if he's got something on camera, he's going to hunt every day. And I found out a while back when I asked him that, and I don't know if you've ever heard the story about the smell. Have you ever heard that story? It's a sad one, but his brother.
No crying on the BassmastHER
I'm not going to cry.
podcast.
I'm not going to cry. His brother passed away when he was 42 of pancreatic cancer, and Gerald had carried him hunting right before he'd been diagnosed. I think it was in October, and during that hunting season, he carried him, but he was already starting to like go down, having to take pain meds, in a lot of pain, and so there's some. I won't get into all the stories of it, but there was a particular smell one day when Gerald was trying to track the deer, and it was like he knew it was probably his last time to go hunting, and Gerald couldn't find the deer. It was a bow kill. It was a bow kill, and he told God, he said, if you will show me one speck of blood, I promise I'll keep looking. And he found that deer, and it was not a fatal shot. The deer, I can't remember what, but it was like something so minute, but somehow I think the arrow, the more the deer ran, the more damage the arrow did. We might have to cut that out, but that's the point. There was a smell. When Gerald smells that now, it all takes him back to his brother and that last hunt that they were together. So he tells me when he goes hunting, he's looking for that smell, and he found it 2 years ago. It was at an old rusty gate. If you ever go back on his social media, on his Facebook, you'll find the video that he did about it. He said, I finally found it again. So it's just a sentimental thing, but he'll hunt every day. And I'm like, do you have anybody else you can take today? I'm tired. I don't want to go today.
No, I love that. And you always see those like memes on social media, like God isn't just in churches, and it's a picture of a guy in a deer stand or something. It's I mean, I get it, and I have hunted on a Sunday and sat there and watched church from the shooting house. You know, I sometimes, I mean, God's everywhere.
Right. You know, I can go out here in this baseball field and I can talk to God. So especially like when we're out of town, I mean, we went to a Catholic church this week. I'm not Catholic, but there was something so serene about going to it, just to kind of tour it. But just walking into that, you just feel that presence, you know. And I'm all about looking for things like that. I'll take my devotional with me, and as the sun's rising, you know, I'll have my morning devotion time, and to me, that's when it's very quiet. That's when you can commune the most. For me,
that's kind of where I was trying to go with that. I always, for whatever reason, when I'm up in a tree and the sun's coming up, the woods are quiet, I just feel like the closest to God, and I think I talk to Him the most out there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I
agree with you, 100%.
Yeah. So, a very important question.
Ooh, she put me on the spot.
People love the sandwich, the sandwich bags. When did that start? How did that get started?
I remember it started at, went in Dardanelle. What is the lake right there in Arkansas? It's close to the White River. It's not Dardanelle. What is the name of that?
I don't get out of Wisconsin much.
I'm going to have to think on that one because I can't remember. Arkansas was the state, and we were at a cabin We were staying in the top cabin. I remember it like it was yesterday. And at that time, for a very short period of time, we were in business with a gentleman with a company called 5x3. And what that meant was 5 fish by 3 o'clock. Yep. So he was just getting started. We weren't partners with him at that time. And I wrote that on his sandwich bag. I want you to get me 5 by 3. And that's how it started. And it just never stopped. So fast forward, I don't know how many years, 7, 8 years.
How many sandwiches?
However many, I mean, it's seriously, so I start running out of content.
Yeah.
And listen, I have gone to pages on Instagram like Motivated Mindset. I see all this stuff, Zig Ziglar, you know, he loves sports quotes. Mm-hmm. So I'm like researching football, you know, all kinds of football coaches, basketball coaches, Muhammad Ali. It's amazing what you can find online. And then sometimes it's just like, you know, this morning, just a Bible verse. Yeah. So, but
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm in the presence of Lulu the day she made a sandwich bag this morning. I can't believe this. She's sitting on my tailgate.
He told me one time, he said, I don't know how you do it. He said, but whatever you write, that's exactly what I needed to hear that day. You know, and sometimes I try to do it the night before, and then sometimes I don't. I just start coming up with stuff that morning of. But and yesterday's, I only do one. He eats 2 sandwiches. He has a PB&J, and then I make him a meat sandwich. Yeah. And I've noticed here lately he's only doing the PB&J, and he's not eating the rest of the day. I'm like, baby, you got to eat. Mm-hmm. He's like, he won't. He will not stop. He will not stop to eat. If you know, he's just going. Usually he'll eat a sandwich in the weigh-in line, but he didn't even do that yesterday.
Wow.
So. He got yesterday's sandwich left over for today.
Hey, might as well. He kept it on ice, right?
Hey, it was cold. Yeah. I made sure.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I love that. So we're talking about all of the butterflies and rainbows of being a team in this sport, right? Mm-hmm. There have to be days. No, yeah, there has to be days when the fish weren't biting. I didn't do well. I can
broke
tell you
something
one, on my boat.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we've had those days. One that stands out in my mind was the Classic at Guntersville. We had that long drive to Birmingham, which is about 1:45, and he didn't have but 1 fish on Guntersville, in which you live. So you can only imagine you're fixing to step out in front of all these people, and just the public embarrassment of that. And he got in the truck and he's mully grubbing, and I let him complain. We have a rule. We have a 24-hour rule anyway. If you have a bad tournament or if something happens, you can be upset for 24 hours, and then you have to let it go. And I let him talk, and we were like halfway there, and I finally told him, I said, listen, you've got till we get to that Coliseum to get it out of your system. I said, because when you get out of that truck, nobody here wants to hear that. Yeah. And he'll tell everybody that. He's like, she told me, you get it out of your system before you get out of that truck, and tonight we'll talk about it again. But when you get out of that truck, you put a smile on your face, you know. And I think most of the time, like, I don't always have to have those hard talks with him. Yeah. You know, he'll bounce out of it pretty good. But that one, you know, I was like, we're not going in there with a bad attitude. And so, hey, sometimes he has to tell me to check my attitude too. You know, I mean, we can all get, we are all made of flesh. You know, sometimes we can get a little bit out of shape about stuff. But yeah, he's it's not all. A lot of it's mental too, and I didn't wear my PMA bracelet, but that has been a huge change in just how you view things, you know.
I swear it is, and
there you go.
It really is. I swear that when I let myself get down on myself in a tournament, I know it doesn't make sense. I don't fish as well. I lose fish. I like just staying positive and keeping your head up.
And that's hard.
It is.
It's a very hard thing to
do. Really,
you know, we worked with a mind coach for years, and he told Gerald, he said, for every 1 negative thought you have, I think it was 20 positive thoughts to correct that. And I'm thinking, can you imagine? Every time you have a negative thought, you're driving down the road and somebody pulls out in front of you, you know, that's a negative thought because you're mad, you know. Yeah. How are you going to come up with 20 good ones
yourself.
Just to...
Well, at least I don't have a flat tire.
I know, seriously. Yes. I have air conditioning, you know, in my truck because I started out when I started driving with no air conditioning. Yeah. None. Y'all are too young to remember those days.
I had my first car. It was pretty in and out. You know, wasn't it?
Did you have hand crank windows?
I didn't. My sisters did. So I'm the youngest. Yeah, so one or maybe both of my sisters did. Yes. And I'm like 7 years younger than them, so I thought I was pretty cool, rolling my window down, shotgun.
Hand crank windows. I'm trying to think. Manual rear view mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. Mine was a stick, but it was only a 3-speed. And then what's funny is that Gerald and I both started with the exact same car, a Toyota Corona.
Oh, mine was a Camry.
Well, have you ever heard of a Corona? People say, you mean Corolla. No, it was a Corona.
I like it. I can tell you that much.
Yes, he had a Corona and I had one.
That is too funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I've driven Toyotas my entire life.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
2 Camrys, and then I bought my Tacoma, and then now I'm in my Tundras.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you love your truck?
I think I'm a full-size truck gal from here on out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Yeah, we love them too.
I feel like every once in a while girls will pass me and peek in expecting a hunk, and I'm say, hey girl.
No, it's me.
Hey ladies.
I have a Camry that I drive at home and I love driving it. I mean, that sucker is the V6 and it's the XSC, I think is what it's called. But anyway, it's got like the cockpit red interior, and I love.
That was my last Tundra. I had the
Did you have
red
the yes,
interior.
yes.
It was so fun.
Gerald loved it. That's his thing. He's like, get one with red interior. This is my second Camry, and man, I love driving them.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have much of a choice with my first one, and I was disappointed at first that I was getting the red. And I'm just kind of plain, like neutral.
You didn't know if you'd like it. You didn't want to be flashy.
That's loud for me. Whatever. I got in it once, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, and anytime I post a photo, all the comments, they're like, hey, what color is that on the interior of that? I'm like, that's cockpit red.
I love it.
Toyota knew what they were doing when they named that.
Oh yeah. I love it.
Oh man.
So being the strong team that you two are, I admire that so much. I really don't think he'd be where he is without you. And I love that we got into like letting people know all the different hats that you wear and how much you help make this team what it is. Before I knew you, and I mean, I still don't know you guys that well, right? But you've been so accepting of me and the BassmastHER initiative, and I really appreciate that. But prior to that, I have enjoyed following both of you for truly years.
Well,
like,
thank you.
For the longest time.
Thank you.
And I would attend classics as just a fan, you know,
Sure.
and glassy eyes, like just looking at everyone. Like, you guys are like, what, someone going to NSYNC back in the day. That's me going to the classic, you know what I mean?
Sure,
Taylor Swift,
sure,
I don't know. But I remember one of the first ones I went to, of course, G-Man has this long line, and then I'm like, who's this other line for? It was yours. Your line is just as long, if not longer.
People don't want to stand in his line, so they'll come over and talk to me, and they'll tell me everything to tell him.
No, they're asking you for photos. I mean, I had you sign my big rap Lulu. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that, yes.
But
I remember the first time someone asked me to autograph something, and I looked at them, and I'm like, are you sure?
I still feel like that.
Do you know who I am? You know, are you sure?
Do you want me to ruin your hat? That's
but
what
there's so many people, they'll be like, hey, G, sign this. I need you to sign it too. And the big joke is they'll skip Gerald's line and come over, and then they'll want their picture made, and then they'll say, hey, G, you know, she's getting her picture made with me. And he's like, you and like 5,000 other, you know. We've heard it before.
I love it. But I mentioned, you are so humble, so I'd hate to put you on the spot here, but why do you think that is? Like, I don't think that's just a very common thing.
The only thing, because I have wondered that too. Yeah. And like, even out and about, I will have somebody come up to me and say, hey, are you Lulu? I'm not with Gerald, they just recognize me. And so the only thing I can think of is that because I've never really been comfortable on the camera, but Gerald has not ever respected that. He's always put me in his videos. I think that's it. And that's why I think when you hear the name Gerald Swindle, it relates to me too. So it's like, we touched on this earlier when we were chitty-chatting about what we were going to chitty-chat about. Yeah. I think some people feel like that if they just are all in on their husband's career, they lose their identity. But I think it created mine. I think I didn't have a choice. I didn't want a different choice. This is what I wanted to do. I never feel less than. I never feel slighted, but I think that goes back to the way he makes me feel too. Yep. He will tell me straight up, you know, he couldn't do this without me, and obviously I would have no reason to do this without him, but I think it's because he's included me for so long that I think now it's just a two-man team, and people know that, you know. I don't I don't want to be corny and say Sonny and Cher, but it's like when you think of one, you think of the other.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what it is.
And I feel bad that now you said, well, he doesn't respect that and he puts me on camera anyway, because I was going to say, I feel like he does a great job at giving respect where it's due. Because
he does, but like he knows when I first got nervous, let me tell you, the very first time I ever did an interview, and it was an article in a newspaper, and I'm country, I talk country, I know that.
I love it.
But they interviewed me and they said, what do you do on a daily basis? And I said something about like I get up, I make sandwiches, fix coffee. I didn't say I launched the boat like I probably would now, because that's a long time ago. I was thrust into this without knowing, and I just said I back him down the ramp. They put in the paper that I vacuum down the ramp. And I was so embarrassed. So that kind of made me insecure because of the way I talk. So then I was doing a interview with Mark Zona. It was Mark. And I've always loved Mark. He's always been so kind. He and Karen both to us. And I was nervous about it. And like I'd even told one of the employees, like, I worry about the way I talk. But I don't feel that way now, but that's how I did feel. And she's like, well, we can, put your voice through a synthesizer and change it a little bit if you want to. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So to take the edge off, the only shirt I had that was not a t-shirt that day ended up being a lower cut shirt. And I was embarrassed to wear it. It was the only thing I had, And I remember just making the joke to Mark, like, hey, I was up here. He wasn't doing anything, but I was just trying to cut the ice. I was just trying to cut the ice. And then we had a good talk. So I had all those early things that were just so nerve-wracking that I just didn't enjoy it. So then when social media came around and Gerald wanted to put me, and I'm not one that gets up and fixes my hair and puts makeup on every day. I am one that...
Amen, sis.
I mean, I am all natural when I'm at home and I'm working. And I would be self-conscious. I don't look good. Don't do that. Don't put me on camera, And now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
There.
I am almost 54. I have wrinkles, and I am thankful for every one of them, because God could have called me home a lot sooner before I started developing wrinkles.
Right.
So I'm going to be thankful for all of that. I have a country twang, and if anybody wants to make fun of me, well, they can kick rocks.
Yeah.
I just don't care anymore. I think as you get older, your give a darn breaks.
Yep.
And you just really, you're just like, hey, I am who I am, and I'm not going to worry about what anybody says anymore. And I say all that to make it sounds like the people are mean. They're not. They're not. I have not had one. People will say, you sure out-punted your coverage. And I'm thinking, man, do you see them wrinkles right here around my eyes? People are so kind. I mean, you'll get a butthole every now and again on social media, but you know what? That's what the ban button's for, or the block.
I will tell you, you are beautiful inside and out.
Well,
I will tell you that much.
Thank you.
But I do think, I'm not trying to say I'm old, but I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 30 years old now, and I do think getting thrown into the social media world kind of makes that come faster.
I think
because
so. Yeah.
you deal with the negativity on there, and you just come to a point where you either let it break you, or you say, you know what, I am who I am. I'm not going to pretend to be anyone that I'm not, and you're not going to make everyone happy.
That's right.
So make yourself happy.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
That's exactly right.
The people that matter are going to like that and appreciate that.
Yes.
It's authentic, and it's you. So.
I agree with you. It just took me a little bit longer to get there.
Well, the world's so different now. I feel like you're just thrown out, and millions of people could see something you put out.
And there are a lot of mean, I don't know why, but there are a lot of mean people.
Sad people.
Well, I guess. And, you want to get mad, and you want to say ugly stuff to them, but at the same time, you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to...
Is it worth it?
No, it's not. So you just try to pray for them. That's what you just try to do. But I don't get internet... I guess trolls is the right word. I don't get that. I don't get the people. Obviously, we've got a lot of anglers, and there's a lot of different personalities. And Gerald's is strong. And not everybody's going to like that, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. But there's so many other anglers that you could follow and pull for without coming on ours and being mean.
Right.
And so I most of the time don't tolerate it. I just don't. I'm like, you're not going to come on here and spread negativity. the world's negative enough. We need positivity. So I used to say, if you cuss on this page, you're out of here.
Okay.
And somebody even like quoted me, it's like, hey, don't say a cuss word on here, Lulu will get rid of you. And I will.
I love that.
Hey, I will. I'm mean like that.
I love it. That's not mean. You can do what you want.
I used to say, you know, we have kids on here, we have our preachers, we have our families. You know, we're not gonna. So now it's you don't see as much cussing. You just see just hurtful, hateful comments. And I'm like, guys, and most of the time they don't have a photo. I've noticed that. So I think it's just people setting up burner accounts just to go on and like try to be mean. And I'm like, life's too short for that.
No. And that's I hate to sound mean, but I feel like they're just kind of sad people who are jealous of what you have going on and try to bring you down because they're feeling down. And if you let that one negative comment get to you when you have 50 other positive ones.
Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's still such a very, very small amount, but when you start getting that many followers, you're going to get negativity. And I have accepted that, and my skin has gotten a lot thicker than it used to be. So.
Good. Yeah, it takes a lot to keep this machine going, and you guys do a great job of that.
Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate that greatly.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what this whole BassmastHER initiative is all about, is just making a space that feels welcoming and making women feel comfortable and showing them that, you know, you don't have to be winning Bassmaster tournaments like Christine in the kayak or on the front deck of a boat like Anastasia. There's people behind the scenes at Bassmaster, strong women who are making that ship run. There are teams, I'm sorry, but these guys, just catching fish isn't the only thing you have to do to be successful. You have to have a social media presence. You have to have someone filming you, editing, scheduling, everything. So like there's so much stuff that if you are fortunate to have a teammate at home that's helping you with that stuff, whether they're in the spotlight or not, it's so important because I think they would combust if they had to do everything on their own.
I don't see how some of the guys that do not have that support, I don't know how they do it. I am excited. You know, I was actually just connecting the dots in my head because I've said for a year now, Gerald's female demographic on social media is low. It's 90% male. And I've always said, hey, what can we do? You know, you need to walk around with your shirt off a little more. I mean, what can we do to boost your female demographic? But you know, as more women get into fishing, no matter what that looks like, you know, maybe that will start to balance back out. So
I mean, women in this sport are growing like crazy.
That's great.
And again, you don't have to be fishing tournaments, even if you're just out fun fishing. You love crappie fishing.
I do. I love that. I love to catch bass, but I'm not species specific. It's all about numbers to me. You know,
I love that.
White bass. You know, I caught a walleye last week. We stayed over, and he carried me out one afternoon. And I caught a wally, and I was like, can we take it back? He's like, it's not big enough. So I was like, man, I love to eat those.
Well, let me pitch this idea to you. Would you guys ever be willing to come back up here in the winter and come out ice fishing? Won't be cold.
I've wanted to go ice fishing for years.
We would have a blast.
Like, do you go out in the little hut?
Yeah, we'll have a little tent set up with a heater. You can be in a t-shirt in there. We'll be catching fish. We'll take them home, have a good old Wisconsin fish fry.
Heck yeah.
It'll be
Listen,
perfect.
I've asked Gerald for years to do that, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get Toyota to lean on him a little bit.
We need some ice fishing content, Gerald.
Hey, they offered him a trip to Breckenridge to learn to snowboard, and they sent was that Toyota? That might have been Dew. I can't remember. No, it was Toyota. Yeah, so they got him a private guide to show him how to do it.
Oh my goodness.
She was about my size. Yeah. So I jumped in on the class and did it too. And let me tell you, that's not something I ever mastered.
No.
I didn't even want to go down the bunny trail. And they're like, well, we have to do it all together. So yeah, I failed getting off the lift. I am not good at that.
I think that seems like the scariest part.
I fell off and I got going. And when I did, I turned and I picked up speed. I couldn't walk for days. I was so sore, but that was fun. But what I'm saying is they line that stuff up, you know. So, and I do think it was a Toyota deal. So I think an ice fishing deal would be awesome.
You just say when. You know where I live now. But it gets a lot colder here. Toyota, we won't take the trucks on the ice. Don't worry. Unless you're down for it. No. Oh man. Well, I have had so much fun talking to you and chatting
fun.
with you, and I really appreciate you being on and everything you do for our sport, representing women in our sport in such a positive way, and helping Gerald, who is one of so many of our favorite people to follow along with and root for. And again, I just, as someone who's in a relationship where we both love doing this stuff, I admire the dynamic you two have and the support and love for each other that is like shines through, and it's just, I'm so flattered I got to chat with you today.
I enjoyed it. I was nervous at first, but I was like, no, me and Maggie, we're just going to sit around. We're just going to chitty chat. So
we're just going to chitty chat.
I hope it was good. I hope everybody enjoys what we talked about. And, you know, there's so much that, they better.
We talked about Gerald too much, but we got a good taste of what you do and just how valuable you are to your team, and you're an incredible woman.
Thank you.
Smart,
thank you.
Talented. And
well, it's been an honor to get to know all three of you guys too with the BassmastHER, and so I'm really glad that Bass and Toyota, you know, got together and kind of created this, because we knew you guys before, but I think they really picked three wonderful people to represent that. So
thank you.
I'm anxious to see how that continues to grow.
Well, we appreciate that, and again, how welcoming you've been of us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I hope this continues to grow and to the moon.
And that my husband catches a few more fish today. I've tried not to be on Bass Track, but it's not been pretty. So
this is tough. This is tough out here. Yeah, but let's wish him luck. Watch him at weigh-in, and he gets to watch you on a podcast.
I'm going to make him watch it too.
Oh, he will. He will.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.